The 60s picked up where the 50s left off. Front-engine roadsters were the norm. The national championship included dirt and paved ovals, but the bricks at Indy were what mattered the most. A field of hardened veterans led the way in 1960. Last year's champ Roger Ward qualified outside row 1. Jim Rathman, a 3-time runner-up at the Brickyard, starts second. And fan favorite Eddie Sachs starts on the pole. His Dean Van Line Special registers a lap over 146 miles an hour.
I just got so elated and so happy that I just started crying, and it was just sentimental. I'm a sentimental type.
On the final day of qualifying, rookie Jim Hurtubise capped off a spectacular month with a fast run. Herc set new 1- and 4-lap records in the Travel-On Trailer Special, nearly 3 miles an hour faster than the pole sitter. Hurtubise will start 23rd.
I was going to try and go as fast as I could. The fellows, my pit crew, they come out each lap I went around and give me an okay sign, so I didn't know how fast I was going. Actually, until the last lap, they give me the 149. And, well, I didn't think I was going that fast, but I guess I was.
And the race is on. Into the first turn, they'll be roaring in about 1/10 of a second. There they go, pick up the leaders, Bill Frost.
All right, we're looking to pick them up. Roger Ward dashes down and into the lead. He is number 1. Right behind him is Jim Rathman and Eddie Sachs.
A handful of drivers charge to the front, but it's Ward who really flexes some muscle early on.
The race should have been the dullest race in the history of the Speedway, because I could run out front without abusing my car so easily. It was just really almost too much fun. Then I made a pit stop, and I got careless.
Ward takes a 10-second lead into the pits. He stalls the car. A routine stop for fuel and tires takes over 1 minute. With fresh tires, Ward hustled his way back to the front. With 250 miles to go, Ward then challenged Rathman for the lead.
And here they come, Roger Ward, about 3 car lengths ahead, driving down into this corner, right above the white line, and right behind him is Jimmy Rathman, and they go scooting into that back straightaway.
Ward regained the lead on lap 123, but the duel had just begun.
I would line him up coming off the turns, and I would pass him down the straightaways, and I did that. Of course, then we'd come to traffic, and because I'm driving a little more cautiously now, he would catch up, and then he would pass me.
Roger could get me coming out of the corner and down the straightaway, and I could pass him actually, or going into the corner or through the corner where I could outrun Roger. And I'm trying to save my tires. That was a main thing that you had to do in those days, because you had to run the tires until the cord showed.
Roger Ward moved about 100 feet in front of Jim Rathman, but on the last time around, Rathman was leading. This is a ding-dong battle for first place between Jim Rathman and Roger Ward.
The faster they go, the quicker the tires wear out. Race strategy now becomes paramount.
So I figured, well, I got to save that right front as hard as we're running. And Roger passed me, and then I figured, well, I'll let him stay in front for a while, and I just couldn't do it. It wasn't in me.
Rathman snatches back the lead on lap 190.
So now it's a Roger Ward, Jim Rathman duel right down for the last 10 laps to the finish of this 500.
Boy, it's a shame that somebody has to lose this race, you know. These two fellows driving 500 miles just neck and neck.
So I made a decision to back off and let Rathman lead. Well, that was working perfectly, because Rathman got into the lead. I backed off a couple of seconds, and then he slowed down and I slowed down. Now the tire wear is going along just perfect. But I failed to get cooperation from the car that was running third. That was Johnny Thompson.
With no time to spare, Ward makes his move on lap 194.
I made the decision. I went up there and took the lead. And about the time that I did that and ran a few more laps, Johnny Thompson had an engine problem, which then caused my strategy to be poor, because I had abused the tires a little extra, and of course I kept leading, hoping for a yellow flag or something. None came.
Jim Rathman ahead of Roger Ward in the southeast turn. Then Roger Ward drops back about 8 or 9 car lengths as they go on that back straightaway.
With 3 laps to go, Ward's right front tire wears out. He backs off, concedes the win.
The race was so much fun because the car performed so great, and I ran so well that, and second is not too bad.
There's a checkered flag for Jim Rathman, the winner of the 44th annual 500-mile race.
A bridesmaid no more. Rathman takes home $110,000 in a race that featured 29 lead changes.
Man, I was happy. Figured this is finally it. I finally got lucky and won one.
History would report that that particular race was perhaps one of the most competitive, because Rathman, again, is one of those people who, when he can see you and when he can race with you, he can find the extra miles an hour.
Fastest qualifier, Jim Hurtubise, ran as high as 5th before a mechanical failure ended his first 500. The impressive debut earned him Rookie of the Year honors. 1961 marked the 50th anniversary of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The evolution of the race car had changed a lot over 5 decades. 1961 was no different. A preview of the future arrived via Europe with Jack Brabham's rear-engine Cooper Climax.
Well, I thought it was the ugliest race car that I'd ever seen at the 500 because they had the engine on the wrong end of the car, for one thing.
During practice, 2-time national champion Tony Bettenhausen crashes a car he was testing for Paul Russo. The car flips along the main stretch, hits a catch fence. Bettenhausen was killed instantly. The big question in 1961 was, who would turn the first 150-mile-an-hour lap? Jim Hurtubise came close 1 year ago. He can only muster a 146 average. National driving champ A.J. Foyt has his eyes on the front row, but has to settle for 7th. Not even Eddie Sachs could break the magic mark. His 147 average earns him pole position for the 2nd straight year. From the green flag, it was all Hurtubise. The 99 Daimler Special led the first 35 laps.
Here's a skid right in front of us. Number 83 spinning around 3 times, 4 times, right on the main stretch. Don Davis, watch it out there. Wow, right around the outside of Davis with the Cooper Climax by inches, and Don Davis is situated right now in his car, getting up and out right in the middle of the main stretch. Getting up dejectedly, walking away, and there are 2 cars going around, and number 73
Trouble again.
Whoa, right in front of the main stretch, 2 cars flip. Get the glasses on them and see who they are. A 3rd car bumps, and the entire main stretch is upside down.
5 cars fell out of competition, and no one was seriously hurt. An assortment of mechanical problems forced Hurtubise and others to retire, leaving Sachs and Foyt to battle it out.
And they're approaching the turn now. Here it comes. Sachs dipping low right behind him. A.J. Foyt. Sachs and Foyt through the turn into the chute.
By lap 127, the two had swapped the lead several times, but this fight would be decided in the pits. Foyt brought his Bose Seal-Fast Special in for fuel and tires on lap 160.
We had a malfunction on the fueling. We used to use the Buckeye fueling, and for some reason it wouldn't open, and so we didn't get much fuel in. And in those days we carried a lot of fuel in the tank. The tank was pretty big. So we had the tires changed and everything, and so Frank Catania was doing the fueling, and he signaled to me that he didn't get any fuel in, and I run around and says, take it off, and we got it off and sent Foyt out.
Unaware of the problem, Foyt zoomed back to the front and stretched out his lead. By not taking on fuel, his car was lighter and faster.
We didn't tell him. There was no way. We didn't have radios those days, so we would signal everything with the board, and we couldn't tell him exactly what was going on. but we kept him going.
Now Sachs had to run harder to keep pace with Foyt. Would his Firestones go the distance? Running on fumes, Foyt's team borrowed a fuel hose from a car already out of the race. They would have to make one more stop.
Foyt's very sharp. He knew something wasn't right. The car was running faster than normal, and when he left the pit without a complete full fuel load, and you know, when they put a big fuel load in those days, the car would slow down a full second or so. And he realized that he had a little extra speed, and I guess he surmised that he didn't have the full load of fuel.
I did not know it right at first. I would guess that we had probably run, I'd say 10 or 15 laps, or maybe more than that. And they held up the board at that time. It said late stop. I said, and then they come back, late stop fuel. I just said, oh no, you know. I did not know that we didn't take on no fuel, but it just killed me leading the race and had to pull in and knowing I give the race away.
They have that hose, that nozzle right into that gas tank now, and they're closing it up immediately. I think they just put about a gallon or so. There's yelling, go, 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 and A.J. Foyt is on his way.
Sachs inherits the lead.
And Eddie Sachs, as they say in horse racing circles, at this moment, winning, going away. However, anything could happen. And now coming in for a pit stop is Eddie Sachs. A surprise, a pit stop for Eddie Sachs coming in.
Sachs' tires are worn out. He gives up the lead with just 3 laps to go.
I could not believe when he had to make a late pit stop and the race was given back to me. It's kind of like a dream come true, and I just couldn't believe it.
And going by is A.J. Foyt, takes the lead from Eddie Sachs to the south third.
I felt that's one time that a race was given to me, taken away from me, and given back to me.
Here comes the checkered flag. Bill Vanderwater is getting set to wave it, and he is going to wave it now. He does for A.J. Foyt, winner of the Golden Anniversary 500-mile race. One of the most thrilling, surprising, exciting finishes ever.
The 26-year-old Foyt beats Sachs by 8 seconds. The closest finish in 25 seasons at the Speedway.
I had tears running down my eyes. And like you say, I knew my mother and daddy was very happy. I was happy. And like I say, the highlights was to qualify for the race, and then later on, a couple years later, be fortunate enough to win the race. It was just unbelievable.
Foyt added 3 more wins that year to secure back-to-back USAC titles. After the race, officials ruled it illegal to use another team's fuel tank. Europe's rear-engine experiment survived the 500 miles. Brabham piloted the Cooper to a 9th-place finish. Rufus Parnelli Jones turned in a strong first effort at Indy. He led 27 laps and shared top rookie honors with Bobby Marshman. After the 1961 race, the main straight of the Speedway was paved with asphalt. Only a yard of bricks of the start-finish remained from the original 1911 surface. A smoother track resulted in faster speeds. This was the year to eclipse 150 miles an hour. After turning over 2,000 laps in private tire testing, Parnelli Jones was aiming for history.
But when I came back for race day, I mean, it was all over. I mean, I just felt like I had everybody covered.
Jones and his 3-year-old Watson Roadster, Old Calhoun, were quick all May, but they were still shy of the magic mark. In 12 Indy starts, Roger Ward had never started on the pole. The 1959 champion can't break 150, but turns in a solid 149 average. Glenn Sutton, A.J. Foyt, and Bobby Marshman are quick, but just a tick under 150.
You know, that was the magic goal that everybody was going for, and of course, all during the month of May, we never run 150. It's all, we always run 149 pretty consistently. And then the morning of qualification, you know, I don't know what it is, but we ran like 151 miles an hour in practice that morning.
Old Calhoun makes a run of the record books that afternoon.
The car got sideways like this, and I felt the right rear roll under, and then all of a sudden it did this turn and headed for the fence, except I was just fortunate enough to not hit the fence. I came back real close, but I mean, I was just fortunate enough to save it. But what it did to me is it gave me the confidence, because I knew what that car was going to do when it got sideways now, that it gave me the confidence that I could let the back end hang out a little bit and not lose it. And by doing that, I could run my car looser, let the back end hang out a little bit, and therefore it helped the car come off the corner. And that's really what I thought gave me an edge.
Jones sets new 1 and 4 lap records to become the first driver to turn a lap at 150 miles an hour.
Qualifying is a race in itself back there, and to be able to set on a pole and of course to be the first to run 150 was truly, you know, a big thrill in my career. And you know, I got 150 silver dollars, which you know, I framed them all and gave them to my friends and everything, and so it was really a great time in my racing career.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
From the start, it's all Jones. Car 98 jumps out to an early lead.
Parnelli Jones, hey, I mean, he's some kind of a driver. I mean, this guy. And you know that he's going to go for the lead. And he did. And quite frankly, we really were not a match for him.
As I remember it, I lapped Roger Ward, I think, or came close to lapping him around before I made my first pit stop.
On lap 18, turn 4 becomes a parking lot. Bob Christie taps Alan Crow. Jack Turner collides with Crow and flips. No serious injuries.
Well, A.J. Foyt just came through this turn slower than anything we've seen move today. He was well under the white line, leaving the cars the track to race on, because A.J. Foyt wasn't racing when he came by in the #1 Bowes Seal Fast car.
Only Foyt knows what's wrong with his Bowes Seal Fast Special. He pits and hops out to find the remedy.
Here's the yellow flag. It appears to be A.J. Foyt who is coming out of the pits. Apparently someone didn't hit him. His car did spin down onto the infield, and a wheel came off of the car.
The car is done, but Foyt is not. A.J. runs back to the pits and subs for Paul Russo. Up front, it's still all Parnelli.
I was long gone, and all of a sudden somebody spun or something in turn 2, and I backed off and hit the brakes, and the pedal went clear to the floor. And I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? I mean, you know, here I had a tremendous lead, and everything was just going great, and you know, suddenly you lose the brakes. I mean, it just feels like you're just not meant to be for you. I thought, gee, you know, so I thought, what should I do?
Jones has led all but 5 laps without any threats. Old Calhoun keeps going.
So as I was running around there, I thought, well, gee, you know, you're collecting $150 a lap, and you're leading a race and everything. You might as well stay out here until you have to go in the pits anyway. So I slowed down, and I did that, and nobody was catching me.
But Ward cut into that lead when it was time to pit.
I knew as I began to gain on him that he obviously had some kind of problem. Now, I didn't know exactly what it was at that time. But then when I could finally see him, I knew that he had a problem with the brakes, because he was driving very cautiously, and he was backing off a little earlier than he would under normal conditions. And so I realized that if I passed him, I had to be very careful.
Finally, I decided, well, this is it. So when I went across the start-finish line, I just slowed down and went down the back straightaway very slowly and started figuring, you know, I came in and I got it stopped pretty close, you know, right at my pits. And man, they hit the air jacks and popped the tires on it, and I'm trying to tell them I didn't want to run anymore.
Ward inherits the lead. Now it's his race to lose.
Coming down the main stretch now is Roger Ward, the winner of the 1962 500-mile race.
The 62 race is a lot different. I mean, it is a believable win. Certainly very satisfying, because it also means that the first win was not a fluke.
Ward coasts to his second Indy 500 victory. Teammate Len Sutton made it a 1-2 finish for the leader card team.
Inside, the win was more an inside thing, more of, you know, a real satisfaction of knowing that you'd gone out there and done it again. That really was what it meant to me. And I don't say that a one-time winner in any race is a fluke, but you know, when you back it up, that means something.
Without brakes, Jones finished the race in 7th place.
Stupid little thing, we had used some tape to tape the brake line onto the frame, and the exhaust header cracked. And when it cracked, the heat from it was letting out onto the tape melted the tape, and then it let the brake line come loose, and the torque of the engine kept touching the brake line, and it finally just wore a hole right in it.
And for the second straight year, a rear-engine car made the 500. Dan Gurney finished 20th in a Buick-powered car built by Mickey Thompson. A racing revolution started in the spring of 1963. Formula One car builder Colin Chapman arrived at the Speedway with his driver Jim Clark and a rear-engine Lotus powered by Ford.
The rear-engine car made the whole process of car design very much more easier and logical, insofar as you were able to couple the engine complete to the transmission and react all the driving torque loads through the one unit, which made it possible to build the chassis structure lighter and to get the weight distribution better, and also to get improved traction.
Sharing the spotlight with the Europeans was Andy Granatelli's revitalized Novi engine. Jim Hurtubise was the fastest of 3 drivers to qualify in the supercharged motor. Hurt starts second. Parnelli Jones returned to the track with trusty old Calhoun. Jones broke his own qualifying records with a 151 average, claiming back-to-back poles at the Brickyard.
Here they come down the main stretch, the world's fastest flying start. The green flag and the 1963 500-mile race is on.
The first lap was a battle in itself. Hurtubise and Jones back and forth.
Parnelli Jones did catch him. It's neck and neck between them, though. Parnelli Jones and Hurtubise neck and neck in that stretch.
When he came by me at the end of the back straightaway on the first lap, I mean, I was totally shocked. And when I heard that noise at the end of the back straightaway, I know it was the Novi.
Herc's teammate, Bobby Unser, hits the wall in lap 2. A quick end to the rookie's first 500. Jones makes his first stop on lap 63.
4 new tires now being slapped on, as far as I can tell from my position here along the pit wall. It's going on quick. There they're hammering it home. The car's still up on the air jack. Parnelli Jones putting the goggles down. He's down now. The car's rolling. It's Cruz pushing him, and here he goes. Parnelli Jones rolling out. And we got him in about 20 seconds unofficially here on our stopwatch.
Now it's Clark in the lead, and there's no stopping the Lotus. After leading 27 laps, Clark's inexperience in the pits results in a 33-second stop. But his Ford motor is giving him great mileage. A one-stop strategy could make the difference. By the halfway point, Jones had regained and lengthened his lead over Clark. The race reaches its final stages, and Jones is in trouble. An oil leak has the leader sweating bullets.
Broke right above the center of the tank, and as soon as that oil level dropped, reasonably below that point, it quit dumping the oil out. But there for a couple of laps, it was really quite scary.
98 has slowed up considerably. He's not running hard into the corners. He's not carrying it downfield. I don't know if he's developing engine or chassis trouble.
A cautious Clark drops back to avoid disaster. But Eddie Sachs is not as lucky. He spins in the oily mess.
It's true that Parnelli did lose some oil. But when a guy is leading the race, you better be damn sure that you're right if you're going to throw the black flag at him.
The black flag is considered, but never displayed. Jones keeps going, and the problem stops.
They flagged us in and disqualified us for leaking oil, and we were not leaking oil. It was Parnelli Jones who was leaking the oil, who went on to win the race. It was a spray of oil coming out of Parnelli's car that you think fog mister.
Obviously, they were thinking of black flagging me. If they had, I wouldn't have stopped.
By now, it's too late for Clark to catch up. Jones has a 30-second lead, but he's not in the clear yet.
And here comes Parnelli Jones. He's fast as he gets around me here by Roger McCluskey. McCluskey spins there in the corner. Hold it. We've got one car going around and he's sideways. The same spot that Eddie Sachs was. McCluskey right there. He's okay.
And there's a checkered flag for Parnelli Jones, the winner of the 1963 500-mile race.
Jones avoids disaster and finds redemption in victory lane.
I didn't get to bed until about probably 2 o'clock in the morning after the race that night, and I dozed off to sleep, and I kept waking up, and one time I even run in the bathroom and looked in the mirror to make sure I wasn't dreaming.
Clark settled for second and top rookie honors. But back in Europe, Team Lotus celebrated their first Formula One world title. But not before Clark returned to the States and dominated a 200-lap event in Milwaukee.
I chose the front-engine car because we had run faster speeds in this car than we had the rear-engine car. And also we had a few problems with the other car. And certainly this car has run here in the past, and it's the same car that I won last year with. And I feel that it doesn't have any problems. It's certainly a proven car.
12 rear-engine cars qualified for the 1964 Indianapolis Speed Classic.
But actually, I started making up my mind to drive a rear-engine car, I believe, during last year's race. As I watched Jimmy Clark and Dan Gurney driving these cars, I was really amazed at how easy they went through the corners, and they could pass just about anywhere they wanted to, and really that's what started me making up my mind.
Team Lotus put all others on notice. Defending world champ Jim Clark sets new 1- and 4-lap records. Clark's hot lap of 159 miles an hour shattered the old mark by nearly 8 miles an hour.
This sight has no equal in sport for drama and suspense. Thousands standing, screaming fans. Here they come down the main stretch, the world's fastest flying start. There's the green flag, and the 1964 500-mile race is on. Into the #1 turn, and here is Bill Foyt.
To no one's surprise, Clark is quick from the start and pulls away from the pack.
There has been a spectacular crash, almost at the head of the main stretch. There's so much fire and so much smoke, I am unable to see any car at all.
On lap 2, Dave McDonald slides into the retaining wall inside turn 4. Eddie Sachs collides with McDonald. 5 cars are involved. Sachs and McDonald lose their lives.
A race driver who leaves this earth mentally when he straps himself into the cockpit to try for what to him is the biggest conquest he can make. So since death has 1,000 or more doors, Eddie Sachs exits this earth in a race car. Knowing Eddie, I assume that's the way he would have wanted it.
The race was stopped for over an hour. The world of racing forever changed.
When you pull around to that kind of a fiasco with the black smoke and the cars all on fire, you know, and then they make the announcement that they're both dead. There isn't any way that you can get back in that race car with the same kind of emotion and the same sharpness.
It was a very sad moment. There were some very great race drivers lost their lives. I'll never forget on the restart where it happened, and you kept running through the cement dust and things like that. It went through your mind that that could have been you as well as anybody else.
When the race resumes, Bobby Marshman takes the lead. His Lotus Ford has an advantage until a transmission plug breaks. Clark inherits the lead, but in a matter of laps, his day is done. A collapsed suspension forces the Flying Scot to retire on lap 48. Now defending champion Parnelli Jones is in first. His time up front only lasts 7 laps.
And there's something wrong with his car. His car is on fire. The Argentinian Bose Fuel Pass Special shooting a few flames and some smoke down here.
A fire in the pits ruins his chances of a repeat. That left Anthony Joseph Foyt in control of the race. His Sheridan Thompson Special broke the string of bad luck and led the final 146 laps.
I was worried right at first in 1964 because we had an oil leak. If you notice when I got out, my mother kept all my uniforms. I've got every one of them that I've ever won with. The left side of me, you know, we led quite a bit of the race, was solid oil and it's coming out of the top of the transmission.
I felt on that day that we would finish about 3rd place, but a few things happened. People got in trouble, and we won the race in pretty good fashion. Foyt won that like he knew he was going to win all day.
Checkered flag for A.J. Foyt with the right hand up in the air, waving to the crowd, the winner of the 1964 500-mile race.
It was a tragic race. I think it took a lot out of it for me. I think what made 64 such a banner year for me, that we come back and won the rest of the races. I was glad to be a 2-time winner. Just could not believe it, but at the same time, it was really dampened by the loss of some of the other good race drivers.
1964 would mark the last time a roadster would visit victory lane at Indy. Foyt added 9 more wins that season to secure his 4th USAC national title. The rear engine revolution hit its stride in 1965. Their sleek style and impressive horsepower had won over most teams. It looked like the Roadster's days were numbered. Safety was paramount for this year's event. Officials chose methanol over gasoline and mandated the use of fireproof fuel cells. Plus, every team had to make at least 2 pit stops during the race. Rookie Mario Andretti makes an immediate impact on the famed oval. He breaks the track record.
I've been dreaming about coming to this place since I was 13 years old back in Italy. That's when I started racing. And well, now I'm here. And it certainly is a realization of a dream, and I'm qualified. Now, come race day, I'll be looking for a short way around.
Then Jim Clark becomes the first man to break 160 miles an hour.
55.98 to speed, 160.772.
The main difference is that here you have a very specialized race, a car set up in a very specialized way to go around one particular type of corner, one way only. Not so much emphasis on brakes, no emphasis at all on gear changing or anything like that.
But Houston's A.J. Foyt is even faster. It's Foyt's first pole position at Indianapolis.
I just got out of the hospital with broken back and legs and all that injury. Indianapolis was my first race. Jimmy Clark broke the track record. I went out behind him and broke track record. And if you remember on the PA, I said I'm glad to bring the track record back to the United States. So that ought to tell you how I feel about him.
As the pace car pulls into the pits, Jim Clark moves ahead on Foyt and pulls into the lead.
The green and gold Lotus rushes into the lead. Foyt is close behind. Lap 2, Foyt hunts down Clark to take the lead. Clark's Ford storms back to the front. He begins to pull away.
The yellow flag is out. The yellow flag is out.
Foyt Ruby lost it up here and then regained it. He did a magnificent job.
Lap 115, Foyt retires with gearbox problems. That allows Jim Clark to pull away.
Oh, he's just a fantastic driver. He's still young and he's still maturing. He's going to get better. The way he's driving at the moment is very relaxed. He does quite a lot of driving, which experience and that sort of thing helps tremendously with a racing driver to keep at it. He's very easy on the machinery, very easy to get along with.
Jimmy was the one you had to beat if you were going to win many races in a Lotus. But Jimmy was so good that he was going to be very good no matter what sort of car he was going to be in.
Here he comes, and here is the checkered flag for Jimmy Clark of Doon, Scotland, winner of the 1965 Indianapolis 500-mile race.
The third time's the charm for Jim Clark. He takes the checkered flag 2 minutes ahead of second place Parnelli Jones.
I kept trying to keep my mind on the job and keep telling myself that the race isn't finished until I see the checkered flag, and because I have lost 2 or 3 very important races on the last lap, and I wasn't going to believe it till I saw the flag. Well, it's certainly a very great thrill doing this, and I think probably only the greater thrill is having won the World Championship.
Clark led all but 10 laps in what is considered one of the safest 500s in history.
I would have to say, with all the foreign drivers I've ever met, that Jim Clark probably rates, in my book, the best one that's ever come across the pond.
Jimmy was obviously racing Formula One and doing Indy and won Indy. And that was a big deal for a European to go and win the Indianapolis 500 for us as Europeans. And that's what fired everyone else's interest to even thinking of going there.
Mario Andretti turned in a stellar third-place finish to claim top rookie honors. He capped off the season by winning the national title.
One thing that I've never done in my entire career, discuss what I would be happy with beforehand, before the race. Going in, even then, I quite honestly had some hopes that, even though it was a long shot, that I could win it. Not only that race, almost every other race I've ever entered, I just never really said, oh well, all I can hope for today is 5th, and I think if I'm riding 5th or 4th, I should be quite happy. Never, never.
1965 marked the first year that the 500 was broadcast on television. ABC's Wide World of Sports presented highlights of the race. The Speedway ABC partnership stands as one of the longest broadcast relationships in sports. In 1966, Jackie Stewart and Formula One champion Graham Hill strengthened the overseas invasion. The look of the Indianapolis 500 was changing. Hill and Stewart joined two-time winner Roger Ward for a super team focused on winning the Borg-Warner Trophy. Inexperience hurt the Europeans. Their Lola Fords qualified mid-pack.
There is more to this track racing that meets the eye. I understand there's quite a few things I've got to learn yet. I personally don't feel yet prepared for the race, and I think it'll be quite an interesting experience for me.
Well, I must say that I came over to Indianapolis with a certain amount of reserve because I had heard so much about it, and perhaps not the best publicity, but this has been completely reversed for me. I must say that of all the races I've ever competed in, I've perhaps had more goodwill and hospitality over here than I have anywhere else.
Jim Clark returned to defend his title with STP sponsorship. The Flying Scot reels off a 164 average. But he's no match for second-year sensation Mario Andretti. He crushes the old qualifying marks by nearly 4.5 miles an hour. The start of each 500 is one of the most anticipated moments in all of sports. 1966 would be one of the most dramatic.
I was nervous about doing the 500, and you suddenly have second thoughts of why are you bothering to cross the Atlantic for this demolition derby that they seem to constantly show on television.
And the Golden Anniversary 500-mile race is on! The number one turn and Mike Ahern.
And here they come to the number one turn, accelerating out of the pack and taking the lead. Well, it's either at...
We have an accident on the main stretch, Mike. Hold it. We have a terrible accident on the main stretch. A very bad accident on the main stretch before they reach the turn.
11 cars are eliminated. The race is stopped for over an hour. Amazingly, only A.J. Foyt is injured, and he cuts himself escaping the scene.
Collectively, I don't know really who is to blame. I don't think you'll be able to blame it on any one person, but they're all using very, very poor judgment. It's not very difficult to drive down a little straight piece of track here with a few cars around. There shouldn't be any trouble at all. We're supposed to be good drivers, and it's I don't think they have the judgment of a flea for all I'm concerned.
On the restart, Andretti takes the point, but Lady Luck ends his day on lap 27 with a broken valve. The race takes on a foreign flavor as Clark leads. Hill and Stewart are patiently working their way up the pylon.
We have just seen some of the greatest driving in our history with this speedway. Jimmy Clark lost it up here completely, turned around 2 or 3 times, got into the grass on the infield, finally righted himself, and continued on down your way, Sid. It was utterly fantastic.
Clark avoids contact and keeps going, but concedes the lead, stopping for fresh tires. Lloyd Ruby's Eagle chassis is now in front. Clark catches up, and the two swap the lead throughout the race. Then on lap 87, Clark spins again. The Scot saves his Lotus, but loses the lead for a second time. Ruby gladly accepts first place and begins to pull away. But with 50 to go, Ruby has an oil leak and is black flagged. Yet another tough break for the Texan. Rookie Jockey Stewart inherits the lead. Clark and Hill are right behind.
I had been lying in second place at one time, I remember that well. And then I found myself in the lead very easily and quite amazed that I was in the lead. I didn't feel I had earned it. I took it. But I was so far ahead that it was a very comfortable lead.
10 laps remain, and the British are dominating at Indianapolis.
Well, we've lost Jackie Stewart. Everyone's standing here, and they can't find Stewart. And there's no yellow flag out. I wonder if the car stopped anywhere. Can anybody around the track see it?
Jackie Stewart apparently is out. He's going, the engine is cut clear off. He came by number 3. It is over in number 4 right now, coming to a stop.
To the delight of the crowd, Stewart pushes his car back to the pits.
I wanted to push the car back, and I pushed it back a fair way because I thought that way I'd complete another lap. We would think like that in Europe. And this has seemed to attract the attention of the public in a fairly dramatic fashion because they thought this was an enormous act of bravery for some reason, which it not at all was.
Graham Hill becomes the first rookie to win at Indy in nearly 40 years. Jim Clark takes second.
I've sort of broken the rookie name now, but naturally I'm very pleased. I think I had a very uneventful run. I had a little bit of oversteer, and it was a little bit weavy under braking, which stopped me from overtaking people when I wanted to. But apart from that, the car ran beautifully.
I suppose it wasn't until about the next morning that I thought, Jesus, I should have won this race. What a lovely thing that would have been to win it your first time there, to have had such an advantage, and then, you know, mechanical things to leave it. But the team won, Graham won, and the same team, which was pretty remarkable. And we were running first, second, and third, the Brits, at that stage, which must have been awful for the Americans.
Despite his disappointment, Jackie Stewart finished 6th and was named Rookie of the Year. Before the rear-engine car could begin its dominance at Indy, a far-out innovation brought about another change at the Speedway.
Nobody knew we were building a car. Nobody, okay? And when I saw that car a year or so back, I said, what the hell is that thing? That looked like something for the year 2000. I didn't even recognize my own design, my own car.
Andy Granatelli's turbine-powered car was a giant move in race engineering. The aircraft design and side-mounted motor were the talk of Gasoline Alley.
No, I don't think it's unfair at all. I think it's bloody clever. And full marks to Granatelli for doing it. I mean, it was a hell of a gamble, and it's paid off, and I think he deserves every credit. I'm only sorry that I didn't think of it first.
Well, we knew that before we came here, because I feel in my own mind it's about twice the horsepower of what we're running. It's just hard to compete when you have a car that's got that much advantage. But I really feel in my own mind that it will break. I feel they had gearbox trouble.
With Parnelli Jones as the pilot, the turbine qualified a disappointing 6th. That's Jones's worst starting position ever at Indy. Mario Andretti is the pre-race favorite once again. He sits on the pole with a 168 average. Nearly a dozen Formula One veterans attempted to qualify for the 500. Dan Gurney is the quickest, starting in the middle of row 1. The turbine rockets past Andretti off the start. By the end of lap 1, Jones is long gone.
And so I just stuck it up there, and I didn't take any chances. I didn't scare myself doing it. I just drove it up there, and as I come out of the corner, I was in 2nd position behind Mario. And then as we come off for the turn 2, I went by Mario, and he gave me a little gesture. And we were on our way.
Mother Nature stops the action after 18 laps. Rain forced the race to be a 2-day event. When the race resumed, Jones started lapping the field.
Just wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to be able to drive back by me. And I knew that if they couldn't drive back by me, they were done.
Lap 52, Jones sidesteps disaster. Leroy Yarborough spins. Parnelli hits the brakes and survives. The turbine's maiden voyage looked like it would dock in victory lane.
And Sid, I must report Parnelli Jones is almost at a halt on turn number 4. He went by me clear under the white line, almost into the grass, and he's barely coasting around.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. I'm watching, and he is now barely moving. As an example, he may have to push. The crew may have to come up to push him into the pits. He is nearing the pit stand down there. Maybe you can see him, Sid.
I'm peeking the glasses on Andy Granatelli and the crew. There could be no greater disappointment.
Going down the back straightaway, all of a sudden it just, like he took it out of gear. And that was it. It just was sickening. 3 laps to go.
With 4 laps to go, a $6 bearing in the gearbox knocks Jones out of the race.
The irony was that the $6 ball bearing that failed was a bearing that I predicted would fail to the engineer who built the gearbox, who designed the gearbox. I told him that bearing wasn't big enough and it wouldn't stand up, and I was again assured that our engineering technique that it would work.
We knew we couldn't beat the turbine. The only thing we were going to do is keep pressure on them all day long like we did. My car ran very well in 1967, and that was the only hope, hoping he'd break. I felt like if he didn't break, he'd won the race.
Now the lead falls into A.J. Foyt's lap. He's got the win in the bag. But there's trouble on the final turn. A four-car crack-up creates havoc. Foyt sifts his way through the smoky mess and wins in dramatic fashion.
I come off before, I could not believe cars spinning every which way. I said, here, I've got to get to that start-finish line. I'll never forget I made a couple zigzags and I lost them in the smoke, and that, you know, I knew I went between cars. I dropped it to second gear and I said, whoever I hit, I'm gonna hit them hard enough that I drive them past the finish line. I did have that in my mind. And I just could not believe when I come out of the cloud of smoke and there was nobody sitting there.
Foyt joins Louis Meyer, Wilbur Shaw, and Maury Rose as exclusive members of Indy's Three Timers Club. Heartbreak hit Andy Granatelli's team hard. Jones finished sixth in the turbine, but would never race again at Indy.
I know leaving Indianapolis a day or two after the race, whenever I got ready to leave, I can remember to this day how I felt. And it felt like when you're leaving your house, you know you've forgotten something, but you can't think of what it is. And that's the way I felt. I had this empty feeling, just like something is here that I haven't gotten.
The turbine engine was out for revenge in 1968. Andy Granatelli formed a super team that included 66 winner Graham Hill, Joe Leonard, and Art Pollard. The chassis of choice was Dan Gurney's Eagle. When paired with a turbocharged Offenhauser, the combo offered a suitable challenge to the turbine. Pole day. Leonard and Hill break 171 miles an hour. The wedge-shaped turbines start 1-2. Bobby Unsers' number 3 Rislone Eagle is not as fast. He flanks the Lotuses on row 1.
The green flag is out, and the 1968 500-mile race is on. Come in, Mike Mayhurst.
We've got him dead and charging into the lead, and Joe Leonard, followed closely by Bobby Unser, and then Mario Andretti, and Graham Hill has fallen far back.
Leonard darts into the lead, but Unser makes a challenge on lap 7. To everyone's surprise, the turbine falls back. Unser leads.
I discovered that I have a tremendous advantage in traffic. That's where they should have had their advantage. If they had done their chassis settings properly, they would have really beat us because of the all-wheel drive concept, beat us in traffic.
Lap 41, Al Unser breaks a wheel. 2 others get caught up in the mess.
It looked like the wheel flew off his car. The car skidded right in the middle of the turn and headed toward the outside wall. Unser's car hit the wall broadside, flying pieces all over, pieces of his car all over the track. And right now the crews are out on the track trying to pick up the pieces that the number 24 car left here all through this first turn.
Big brother Bobby holds his lead. He's led 119 laps, but has developed a problem with his lower gears.
And I wouldn't even get the thing up to like a safe speed to get it out on the racetrack till I would get clear around to turn 3. So that means that I would lose about 3/4 of a lap right then and there. And this happened on at least the last 2 pit stops. And so what would happen is I would go from having a good lead to being way back in the back.
After pitting on lap 165, it takes Unser a full lap to regain racing speed. Leonard and Lloyd Ruby battle for the lead.
All right, we've got a car on fire. The driver struggling to get out of the automobile. It's car number 84. It's lost a right rear wheel. The driver is getting out now. He appears to be all right. The driver of car number 84 is Carl Williams, and Carl is standing by while the rear end of the car is on fire.
Lap 183 brings out the caution. The drivers are required to hold their positions, but not bunch up. That plays perfectly in Granatelli's favor. Leonard leads. His teammate Pollard lags behind and slows. That prevents second-place Unser from challenging for first. With 9 laps to go, Unser has a plan.
If I pass him, I get disqualified. And so the crowd was making so much noise.
The frustration continues for Granatelli. Number 60 is dropped out of the number 1 turn. Come in, Mike Ahern.
Yes, Sid, we've got the glasses on him. He is just entering the number 1 turn, right toward the end of the main straightaway, and Joe Leonard is still in the cockpit. What happened, we don't know. I think Joe Leonard's out of this race.
It doesn't matter. On the restart, Leonard's turbine flames out. Victory so close. Again, misfortune plagues Granatelli in the final laps.
And there's a checkered flag for Bobby Unser, winner of the 1968 500-mile race.
Unser gladly accepts the lead and wins his first 500 sweepstakes.
I've never seen so many people stand up and hit the floor and make so much noise in all my life. Tony Holman said it was the greatest 500 that he'd ever seen.
Dan Gurney finished second as a driver, but his Eagle chassis made it to victory lane, making it a very special 1-2 finish.
We were happy from the standpoint of the manufacturer. We came in first, second, and fourth, and with 3 different engines. I was also aware of the fact that here was another sort of letting the genie out of the bottle, and that a turbocharged engine won the race.
Jim Hurtubise returned to the Speedway with the Roadster. The Mallard only lasted 9 laps and marked the official end of front-engine racers. 2 racing legacies carried on their proud past in 1968. Gary Bettenhausen and Bill Vukovich II followed in their father's famous footsteps. Vuki claimed Rookie of the Year honors after finishing 7th. Mario Andretti teamed up with STP and Andy Granatelli for the 1969 May Classic. A new Lotus Ford looks to be the class of the field. All the pieces seem to be in place for a trip to victory lane. But Indianapolis plays no favorites. In practice, Andretti destroyed his brand new Lotus. It's ruined, and Andretti suffers facial burns.
We had no idea how it would go on the super speedway, and it was certainly not set up for that, believe me. We had radiators and everything hanging all over the place.
The crew rushes to get a backup ready. An older Ronner Hawk is prepared for qualifications. Andretti gets up to speed quickly. He qualifies second, just a tick under 170.
Whenever you're facing this type of adversity, you just go for it. You just don't think a heck of a lot, you just go. And we knew we had a job to do, and I had the right people with me.
Mario's rival A.J. Foyt has his Coyote howling. Super Tex sets pole position with a lap of 170.5.
The green flag is out. The world's fastest flying start, and the 1969 500-mile race is on.
In the early stages, the battle is between Foyt and Andretti. Mario holds the point until lap 5. Then Foyt takes the lead.
As Foyt and Andretti come by, and Foyt takes Mario Andretti. Let's take number 1 turn first. Mike?
Okay, Sid, yes, Foyt does dive low. He's in front of Andretti. Andretti just about a car length behind, followed by Roger McCluskey.
Some of the best racing ever was in the 60s, was when AJ was on top and Mario was trying to knock him off. And those two went at it, hammer and tong, and that was as good as racing ever gets, I would say.
Lap 51, they both fit. Foyt is out in 28 seconds. Andretti 43 seconds. Lloyd Ruby has inherited the lead. He's climbed from 20th to first place.
Just a minute ago, A.J. Foyt dropped way back. He may be coming into the pits here. Andretti went around him like he was standing still.
Foyt stops on lap 99 with a split manifold. The repair takes him out of contention. While leading on lap 105, Ruby makes his second stop. He leaves the pits too early. The fuel hose is still attached and rips the side out of the Spitfire Special.
They told me to get out, and I still couldn't realize what happened. And I even got out and seen all the fuel running out. And got out and walked just a little ways and had to go back and look at it again. It seemed like I was having a nightmare.
With Ruby out, Andretti leads with ease. On his final pit stop, he hits Chief Mechanic Clint Bronner. Bronner is okay, but Mario has a fight on his hands.
Although his lap times were not particularly good, he was having some kind of problem. The trouble is I was having one too. But I knew that it wasn't dependent upon my car being able to run him down so much as it was on them having a problem. I mean, I was tapped out. That's as fast as I knew how to run.
50 laps to go. Andretti shakes Gurney, but nearly hits the wall. Granatelli can't handle the pressure.
All of a sudden you start looking around and your concentration just starts wandering a bit, because I know that at one point I was coming up to lap Mike Mosley up in turn 2, and all of a sudden I closed up on him just faster than I thought, and I had to just do a turn right in the middle of the corner and then recapture it. And I think, oh, stupid things to do, you know. And after that, honestly, you know, thinking, well, that's not this one.
And the 23-year dream of Andy Granatelli is now 3 left turns away. There goes Mario Andretti down the short chute.
And here's the checkered flag. Pat Badan holds it and waves it for Mario Andretti, winner of the 1969 500-mile race.
In his backup car, Mario Andretti and the STP team win by 2 minutes.
There's something about the magic of Indianapolis is there. I think it always was. And as I say, for any race driver that ever set foot there has that dream to cross that finish line first, see that checkered flag first. And when you see it, I'm telling you what, it's such a wonderful feeling.
That was one of those races that it was just meant for him to win it. I mean, there were so much going against him, and so many things that had happened. And I mean, to win the race and have all these things happen, it was just kind of like a miracle.
After years of disappointment, owner Andy Granatelli relishes his first 500 win.
This means a wonderful, wonderful feeling. But more than that, I feel so happy to be associated with Mario, because we think a lot and do a lot like each other, and it's great to win together. Great.
Shouldn't have won that, you know, by all intents and purposes. When you look at all the problems that I had, but there it was my day. Again, that day, it was my day, too, no matter what.
Dan Gurney equals his career best with a second place finish. Car owner Roger Penske's trip to Indy results in a 7th place for Rookie of the Year Mark Donohue.